If you've ever been hunched over a binder, wondering what deck to bring to the next event, and asked for advice, you've probably heard this one answer: whichever deck you're most comfortable with. So in 2025, when the meta decks are extremely powerful, how can you nerf the opponent's strategy? Well, you make them uncomfortable. This, I've determined, should be the goal of any combo deck, and for that matter, any even mildly off-meta strategy. However, it's important that this tactic is not only present in your end board, but rather a commitment to forcing your opponent into as many diverging decision points as possible throughout the game. So how does the Odion deck achieve this? Well, redundancy. All of these cards are broken, yes, but they are redundant. You see, Odion doesn't operate in a linear sense, or even what we typically think when we hear non-linear combo deck. Instead, the Odion deck combos in circles, often several. Each card in the deck can get you to each other, but there aren't very many to choose from. Instead, the Odion deck succeeds by having consistent access to a series of influential decision points through sequencing, aka redundancy. So how does this redundancy relate to the topic of uncomfortability we discussed earlier? See, when a deck has many redundant starters, interrupting early stages of the combo can be incredibly difficult. It's incredibly uncomfortable to Ash Blossom your opponent's Anubis when you know there's 7 more copies of Mark in the deck. Additionally, many of the deck's cards are downright difficult to interact with mechanically. With 3 of the deck's major kickstarters, a distinct group of cards from the typical starters, set cards directly from the deck. No Ash Blossom and no Imperm. Well, sometimes Imperm in the case of the Rabbit. Any of the kickstarters lie at the end of the combo, making interaction uncomfortable at both the early and late stages. But that's not what makes combo decks interesting. The unique part about a combo deck is hardly its end board. Instead, it's the deck's mid-combo sequencing. So what can we do in the middle of an Odion combo to make the game state uncomfortable for our opponent? Well, the obvious choice, and the one I went with, is Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith is unique because of its ability to operate within every step of a combo, early, mid, and late. Because of a combination of redundancy and the Fiendsmith package's flexibility, not only is your sequencing never telegraphed, but there's no right decision. Your opponent isn't allowed to get comfortable with the matchup. Another important card to mention in the deck is the least flashy one of all, Fiendsmith in Paradise. This deck is what allows the Fiendsmith strategy to always be a threat, making operations in each stage of the combo a great commitment for a powerful set of cards. It can be overwhelming when a Lacrima effect can lead to a Desiree or Caesar, but it's discomforting that a Lacrima in the graveyard can lead to Paradise effect, or in the case of our typical end board, even a Desiree. So now that we've established the primary axes of our deck, what do we fill the last cards with? Well, it's Yu-Gi-Oh!, so the obvious answer is hand traps. Mindlessly throwing in the obligatory 6, we have a few remaining slots to dedicate to making our opponents uncomfortable. The first inclusions I decided on were Talent and Called By. While Called By makes your opponent's hand traps completely irrelevant, the existence of talents adds another point to A, force additional decision points, i.e. do I use Ash or Imperm first to play around talent, or B, ensure redundancy into hand traps by allowing you to re-enter your circular combo through draws. Nextly, I decided to incorporate board breakers into the deck. While the fear that announcing Enter Battle produces isn't negligible, the primary point of discomfort from evenly matched directly builds on the layered nature of end boards in 2025. When you activate evenly matched, your opponent is forced to compare vastly different forms of interaction in the face of a 4 to 5 card hand that's hidden from your opponent. That's no easy decision. Ultimate Slayer, on the other hand, is just a straight blowout. It's uncomfortable to lose. Thank you for watching my first ever video. I've put my current deck list on screen and will link my dueling book list in the pinned comment so you can see if I've made any updates. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a very uncomfortable day. See you.